So I'm all set up and ready to capture just one shot today, albeit a panoramic, so probably about 5. But whilst I've been setting up, the sun's gone behind a cloud, and so I'm just going to wait for that to pass, and as I do I'll explain to you what it is that I'm taking an image of here. But first of all, when we see a landscape that we like the look of and we want to take a photograph of it, we can quite often take that photograph, look at it on the back of the camera or when we get home, and then feel that it doesn't really live up to the expectation or the view that we had at the time. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that we're not really sure what it is that we're taking an image of. So this place I'm in is called the Devil's Punch Bowl. It's just off the Ridgeway in South Oxfordshire, and it's a really interesting landscape, a small valley that's full of twists and bends. I've been coming here a few times trying to capture the essence of this landscape or something, and not been that successful. But as I've been walking through, there are various details that I've been picking up on and learning about the place, and that's helped me form the composition that I'm going for today. So first of all, I'm starting closest to the camera. There's a fence post here, and that's part of an old agricultural fence that's falling to pieces. So for me, that's telling a bit of a history of this landscape. It's an old agricultural fence, it's not in use anymore, but it does have that history related to it. But then as I've learnt more about this place and the landscape itself, I know that the wall over there is actually part of an old quarry. So it's kind of a walk through history with the fence of more modern times leading you down to something slightly more ancient. What attracted me to this place in the first instance was the shape of the valley, and that was formed in the last ice age, and so once you know that and you want to include those elements, then again it starts to speak a little bit more to you. Now I know when the sun comes out in this place that half of the hills are in shadow and the rest is in sunlight, and it makes some really interesting and abstract shapes, and I want to include that in my scene, and so that's what I'm aiming for here. There's also a tree that's on the side of the quarry that I know after a certain time is still illuminated by the sun, and the rest of the hill is in shadow, and so that really makes that stand out and it'll be a point of focus in the image as well. And then I've got the rolling hills in the background, and once again when the sun is out and the shadow accentuates the shapes, it draws your eye to it a little bit more. And so whilst this is just a landscape, like I said, it's also a journey through time. And each element in the scene that I'm including is there for a reason. I've chosen to include it, and that's something that I think a lot of people will forget sometimes, especially when it comes to a large landscape like this. Because you take a shot and you're not really sure what it is that you're capturing. You look at it when you get home or on the back of the camera and you go, ah, it's okay. But it's when you actually stop and take the time to decide what you're including and know why you're including it, that's when the picture starts to feel a bit more important to you and when it starts to come together, and at least that's how it is for me. So that is why I'm explaining it in such detail to you, and now I just have to wait for the sun to come, and it's just coming now. Whether anybody else sees what I see whilst I've taken this image, perhaps you can let me know in the comments, although I have just explained it to you, so maybe it will make a lot more sense than it would have done if not. So try and look at it objectively and let me know what you think. Right, sun's gone back in again, and I think I might have got the image. I won't really know until I get back home. But thank you very much for watching. You might have recognised this location from my previous video about photography and mental well-being. If you haven't seen it already, then I'll put a link to it up there and down below, and you can have a look. But I've had some really good response to that, and I'm glad, because it's something that I want to start including a bit more of on my channel, just talking about the benefits of photography that go way beyond just capturing a nice image. Okay, so short but sweet. So if you haven't already subscribed, then please do so. It does help in terms of YouTube's algorithm and helping me get noticed and get my message across to more people. And give the video a like and a comment and all that stuff. And I'll see you again soon. Cheers.
coast.